Yeah, hello everyone again, and thank you very quickly. Just thank you so much for all the positive messages, calls, emails we've had off the back of those last two videos last week. It's obviously quite clear that we hit a nerve, which is good. So happy to keep having these hard conversations with you guys. So the one this week that I want to cover off on is one that it's all too often raising its ugly head, I believe, and in a lot of cases I believe we must be talking about this other difficult conversation in the industry, and that is of talking about managers within agribusinesses across Australia. We talk a lot about staff shortages, recruitment, how hard it is to find people, how hard it is to retain people. Talk about what young people leaving the industry, how do we promote more young people into the industry, and all of that matters, of course it does. But there's another group in the middle of all of this pressure that I believe we must be talking about, and that is the managers, the GMs, area managers, farm managers, whatever, the people managers of agribusiness. These are the people that are sitting between the owner or the board at the top and the frontline workforce on the ground. And I think in a lot of businesses that middle layer is starting to crack a little bit, not because they're bad people, not because they don't care, not because they're not working hard enough. In many cases it's the exact opposite. They are carrying more than ever now, as I alluded to in that last week's video. The managers are being asked to hit production targets, manage costs, keep staff engaged, solve labour problems, deal with compliance, manage personalities, absorb pressures from above, and keep morale steady below. And they're all expected to do that while the industry is changing underneath them. It's a pretty big ask in my opinion. But we also have to be honest about the other side of that too. When that person in that middle layer is not leading well, and the damage can be enormous within an agribusiness, especially in large teams, but also in small medium-sized teams, of course. So a poor senior leader does not have a bad day, and it only affects one person. Their communication style, their pressure, their blind spots, or their unwillingness to listen can flow through an entire workforce. Good people go quiet. Problems stop being raised. Managers underneath them start copying that same behaviour, funnily enough. Frontline workers lose trust, and before long the owner or the board is looking at staff turnover, low morale, and a constant recruitment pressure without really understanding where it all started from. This is why this conversation is so important and why it matters so much. It's very easy to sit back and blame the managers, say that the managers need to lead better. Sometimes, in some instances, that is true. But in sometimes a better question should be asked, which is, have we as an agribusiness built that structure around them that allows them to lead properly? And in most cases, more often than not, the answer is no. A lot of managers in agriculture were never trained to manage people. They were promoted because they were good operators. They knew the job, knew the stock, the country, the seasons. They could get things done. So naturally they moved up, they progressed in their careers. That is how agriculture has worked for a long time. But being a great operator and being a great people leader are not the same thing, and we must, as an industry, stop pretending that they are. You can be outstanding on the ground and still need support where it comes to communication, conflict resolution, delegation, difficult conversation, culture development, staff development and leadership. And it's not a weakness, it's just the reality. The problem is when managers are put into these roles without the right support, they often end up trapped. The owners want results, the board wants numbers, the staff want clarity, the business wants stability, and the manager is standing in the middle trying to hold all of this bloody thing together. Eventually something gives and something breaks. Communication starts to drop, pressure turns into frustration, frustration turns into shortness, shortness then turns into staff disengagement. And suddenly the business thinks it has a people problem, but sometimes what is actually the case is that it's a pressure problem, a structure problem, a support problem, a manager who is asked to carry too much without the tools to do it well. And sometimes it has a leadership problem that has been allowed to spread too far because no one has had the proper way to measure what was actually happening underneath the numbers and the reports. That matters commercially because if the middle of the business is under strain, everything underneath it feels that strain. Frontline staff feel it, young workers feel it, families feel it. Eventually, owners, you will feel it. And by the time it shows up in resignations, poor morale, safety issues, or constant recruitment pressure, the issue has usually been building for a bloody long time. This is where I think agricultural businesses need to take a more serious look at their management structures, not just who's in that role, pardon me, but what support sits around that role. What training do they get? What do they talk? Who do they talk to when they are under pressure? How are they measured? Are they only being judged on production, or are they also being supported to lead people properly? Because if production relies on people, then people management is production. I said that in last week's video too, and it hit a nerve, obviously, in the industry. And that means leadership cannot just be something we hope managers figure out on their own. It has to be built into the business. It must include clear expectations, regular feedback, independent staff check-ins, leadership development, coaching, proper communication rhythms, a way for workers to speak honestly and openly, a way for managers to get support before they burn out or become the problem themselves. And just as importantly, a way for owners and boards to know whether poor leadership is damaging the team before it becomes a full-blown retention problem. This is not corporate nonsense. That is practical business management. Because the business that will win over in the next decades are not the ones with the best assets or locations, country or best systems. They're with the ones that can hold good people and develop good people, support good managers, and create enough alignment that everyone knows what they are working toward. So this is not out there and blaming managers. It's about recognising that many of them are being asked to carry a level of complexity that they were never trained for. But it also is about recognising that when leadership is poor inside a large team or middle-sized team, the cost is not small on that business. It is terribly large, and it spreads quickly. It affects people, performance, trust, safety, retention, and the reputation of that business. And if the owners and boards want better leadership inside their businesses, they need to stop treating leadership like an accident of promotion. Leadership needs structure, it needs investment, it needs accountability, and it needs support. So if you own or oversee an agricultural business, have a look at the middle of your organisation, please. Are your managers generally supported? Are they trained to lead people or just expected to know how? Are they being measured only on output or also on the health of the team underneath them? Are they creating pressure or are they absorbing too much of it? And most importantly, would you know the difference? Because when the middle breaks, the whole business feels it. And right now, I think it's happening more places than what people want to admit. Let me know what you think in the comments again, please. I think this is another tough conversation that I was happy to start. So look forward to your reviews. Thank you.